Hey everybody, welcome back for your Bertram Bit of Wisdom today. So today we're talking about RI2, which is analyzing the development of central ideas. So this is part of our recovery portion of our text and of our Unit 2 test. So remember, we have to get this done and our other one done so we can successfully take our retake on Tuesday. So that way we can fully understand what we're learning about today. So go make sure that you've got your paper in front of you. Make sure you have a pencil or a pen, and let's go ahead and mark up our text so we can get started. So here we go. So what I have down here is I have the central idea. And what I've done with my text is I've circled central idea because that's the main idea. That's the overall idea. It's the most important point that the author is trying to make about a topic. And then the most importantly about a central idea is we have to have our supporting details. And supporting details, these are the facts, the examples, the ideas, and any other background information that our text has that we can fully support the central idea. So down here I've got my picture, and we've got a picture of a paleontologist, which is a person who discusses and studies fossils and bones. So we have this paleontologist. So over here in the corner it says, paleontologists search for fossils that reveal more about creatures that lived in the past. So down here I have my central idea, which says that paleontologists help us learn about dinosaurs and our past. And our first central idea that we see is that dinosaur bones show the shapes of creatures from the past. So you can see that we have this really interesting dinosaur fossil that we have in our picture. And then we have our other supporting detail, which says that studying fossils reveals clues about creatures that lived in the past. So again, we got this straight from our picture, and we got this straight from the information in the corner that talks about our central idea. So now let's go ahead and go back to our next page, which talks about deep sea treasure hunters. And I think this is pretty cool because deep sea treasure hunters seem like really interesting people. So looking at my text here, remember the first thing we have to do is we have to number our paragraphs, as you see that done over here in the corner. So we have our first two paragraphs. And remember, when we read a text, we have to read it with a purpose. So at the bottom, we see that we have our two questions. So first question says, what is the central idea of paragraph 2? And what details are given to support it? So we have these two ideas, these two questions. So as we read, we're probably going to focus primarily on paragraph 2 because that's what our question is asking us to do. So let's go ahead and read these two paragraphs together, and then we can go ahead and find the central idea. Here we go. It says, deep sea diving is a dangerous but fascinating activity. Some people dive for fun or sport, and some make a career out of hunting for sunken treasure. Well, I think that sounds pretty cool. These types of career divers fall into one of two categories: those who want to study their discoveries and those who want to sell their treasures they find. So here we go, paragraph 2. The divers who study sunken treasures are concerned with preservation of the sites. These divers often locate, map, and study shipwrecks. When they find a site, the divers are interested in using the information about the treasure to provide a form of a story about a ship that wrecked. By studying artifacts such as coins or jewelry found at a site, these divers can learn many things about the lives of the ship's passengers. They also learn more about the cargo and the daily lives of sailors aboard the ship. Sometimes they even learn why the ship sank. So let's go ahead and look at our graphic organizer. And we have this part down here. It says central idea. So it gave us this sentence starter, and I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera for you. So it gave us this sentence starter that says, the goal of some deep sea divers is to ... or an ellipses. And I said, gather important information from sunken treasures. So remember, that's the overall point of paragraph 2, because that's the question that we're supposed to be answering. So we're talking about gathering important information from sunken treasures. The first supporting detail that they have is that divers study artifacts like jewelry and coins. And that comes straight from paragraph 2 that we see over here. And then the second piece of text evidence that I have, and that I found, was that the divers learn about the lives of the ship's passengers, cargo, and the daily lives of sailors. So again, I got that straight from paragraph 2. And now what we're going to do with that is we can now fully analyze and understand what the central idea is and using our 2 supporting details. So remember, whenever we have to do a constructed response, we always have to have at least 2 or more details. That's really key, and it's really important to have 2 or more details. So now, with a classmate, I want you to discuss the differences or similarities of the supporting details. So if you didn't get quite as the similar information that we have here, go ahead and hit pause to make sure that you have the information written down. And then you can discuss it with your classmates to see what information can come next. So now that we have taken a moment to discuss the first 2 paragraphs of our deep sea treasure hunters, let's go ahead and turn the page, and we're going to go on and read the next couple of paragraphs so that way we can answer our discussion question and complete our multiple choice question. So paragraph 3, it says, the deep sea divers pursuing profit must carefully research their sites to make sure it is legal to take artifacts from the location. They must also take measures to preserve the artifacts so that they don't corrode and lose value once they are recovered. For the deep sea divers, the measure of their success is the dollar value of the treasure they find. Whether deep sea divers wish to study treasure or collect it, divers must obey the laws, dive in teams, and be careful at all times. We must respect the power and mystery of our oceans if we hope to uncover their many hidden treasures. So once we've read it, if you look over in the close reading section right over here, it's giving us a guide that helps us fully understand and analyze the text. So it says, the author mentions 2 central ideas in these paragraphs. So we're going to circle the first central idea and underline the second central idea. So as you can see in my first 2 paragraphs, I've already done that. I've circled my first central idea and I circled my second central idea. So now we have to go ahead and mark up our discussion question, our multiple choice question, so we can fully understand what the question is asking, so that way we can fully understand how to analyze our information. So let's go ahead and look at our text. Our text question. There we go. Whoopsie. Our text question. And it says, which sentence provides a supporting detail from the idea that we must respect the oceans and their treasures? So I'm going to flip my camera again so that way we can look. And now you can see that I have fully marked my text-based question. And so go ahead and hit pause here for a second. I want you to try to figure out what you think the best idea is. But for those of us who are ready to move on, I chose answer C, that divers must identify sites that are legal before they can collect artifacts. Because, remember, before they can even begin to dive, they have to understand that there are laws based in each part of the ocean. So they must respect the laws and identify the sites that are legal before they collect artifacts. So that way they're not breaking any laws. So what I want you to do now is we're going to go ahead and hit pause for a second, and I want you to complete the show your thinking. And yes, I know we must use everybody's favorite thing. We must use race. Again, I said it in our last video, race is a really good way for us to analyze and really understand what the text is asking us to do and using our text evidence to support it. You all have done really awesome with your constructed responses. I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, and this is only going to make us better. It's like any sport we play. We have to practice before we can go to the game, so that way we can be as in best shape as possible and really understand and really focus on it, okay? So the show our thinking says, explain how the supporting details given by the author develop, and I underline develop because I think that part's really, really important. We're not just analyzing the information and pulling out the text. We have to find the way that the author develops their central idea. So explain how the supporting details given by the author develop the central idea about divers searching for profit. So go ahead and pause the video here and go ahead and complete your constructed response. Once you've done that, then that takes us into our independent practice. Yay, parts we get to do by ourselves. And you get to read about one of my favorite dance teachers and dance choreographers. As most of you know, I was a dancer and I did study Martha Graham. She's a phenomenal choreographer and an amazing dance innovator. So you're going to read the article about Martha Graham, modern dance innovator. And again, as you read, you're going to mark your text. But even before we begin reading, we have to mark our questions. So the first question says, which sentence best supports the central idea that Martha Graham was an innovator? So as you can see on my paper here, I have circled best supports and that Martha Graham was an innovator. So make sure that you answer that question carefully. Make sure you use your cross-out tools. Make sure you can eliminate any of the answers that don't make sense. Our second question, remember this one has two parts. So the first part says, what is the central idea of the passage? Boom, easy question. We've done that before. It is nothing new to us. Part B says, which 3 details from the passage best support the central idea? So we're looking for 3 answers, not 1, not 2, but 3. We need our 3 answers. So make sure that you've underlined 3 details and circled best support, because those 2 things are really important, so that way we can fully answer the question so we can get the full points possible. And then you have to complete question number 3, which is to describe the central idea of paragraphs 9 and 10, and then identify at least 2 details the author used to develop the central idea. And there's that word develop again. So it's not just pulling out the information, it's how the author takes that information and uses it to develop their central idea and really support their point. It's kind of like argumentative writing. We have our point, and then we have to add that information in to support our point. So again, with a partner, you may go ahead and read and mark the text together, but you must do the assessment independently. And trust me, you guys know that I know when you don't, okay? I really want you guys to try your best. I know you can do it. And remember, this is part 2 or part 1, whichever standard you're working on, of your recovery, and your Unit 2 retake is on Tuesday. So make sure that we're staying focused and staying on task. I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you guys again. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or you can send me a message through Teams. Well, this is your Bertram bit of information and bit of wisdom today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.